This is going live. We live. All right, there we go. Right. So with the book of okay, most okay. With the book of Psalms, chapter 133, verse 1. Scripture say, "Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren," you understand, "to dwell together in unity." You understand what I'm saying? The scriptures say, man, how good is it? How pleasant is it?
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? For brothers to dwell together in unity.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? On one accord, man. You know what I mean? Imagine black people getting together and throwing a party and nobody gets shot. You understand? Nobody gets stabbed, man. You understand? Ain't no arguments that disrupt the whole party and the party got to be shut down.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? We ain't got to worry about no violence, man. You understand? Imagine a party like that being thrown. I mean, to tell you, listen, a party like that is soon going to be thrown.
That's right.
In New Path. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, wait. Like, if y'all don't understand, man, if you listen, if you do anything, plan on going on any vacation in your entire life, I'm telling you now, you make sure you there. What is it? April what? The 7th?
April 9th.
April 9th. You understand what I'm saying? April 9th, man, in New York City, man. Right? Isupk is gonna be holding the Passover there, man. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians gonna be coming from all around the world.
That's right.
You know what I mean? We gonna dwell together, man, in harmony. You know what I mean? In unity. You understand? It ain't gonna be no violence, man. No gang violence. No gang on gang violence. No brother hating on another brother. No sister hating on another sister.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Ain't gonna be no jealousy, man. It's just gonna be straight brotherhood spread. You understand what I'm saying? Sisters loving other sisters, brothers loving other brothers. You understand? It's so glorious in this goddamn school, man. You meet a brother in here that you don't know, man. You meet that brother, you talk to him like y'all known each other your whole goddamn lives.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? That's how pleasant it is to be in here amongst these brothers, even amongst these sisters, man. Y'all know how it is when you're in the world. You meet random brothers and sisters. It's damn near hard to say what's up.
Right.
You know what I mean? You see another nigga outside, each other up like, what up, nigga?
Right.
What's going on? You trying to figure out if he a hostile type nigga?
Exactly.
Is he a genuine nigga? You know what I mean? Is he gonna be the nigga that, he look hard, but he still gonna be like, what's up, or good morning?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, nigga don't even want to say good morning sometimes.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's 6:30 in the morning. You coming to the store to buy some food, like, nigga won't even say good morning to you.
That's right.
You understand? What's going on, brother? How you doing? You know what I mean? What you got?
So, like, if I may real quick,
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to the brother yesterday, and he was telling me how this is the brother of Yazar from New York, right?
God.
We both thought, he was telling me, I thought the same thing. He was like, oh, we're going to move down south, we're going to get some southern hospitality. Everybody going to be so nice, and bro was like, good morning, He
got cold shoulders.
Right. He said, brothers down here is just as, they say we rude in New York. He said, brothers down here is just as rude.
Niggas is not aggressive, though. Y'all niggas obnoxious, man.
They're not as aggressive, but like, you know what I mean? You still got a brother still look at you a certain way and everything in the store. It's not like, I thought you go in the store and everybody going, good morning, how you doing? Good morning.
Like a TV show.
Right.
The movies make shit look so good.
Right.
You understand? The movies make it look like everybody's genuine and nice. Man, the real world, man, niggas don't know how to give a damn about nobody else but themselves.
That's right.
You understand? Because we don't have that spirit of brotherhood on us. Why? Because it's not being taught in the one place that we go serve God, man.
That's right.
You understand? But it is being taught in the Isupk.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? And it is coming out of the goddamn Bible. Not from what we feel or what, we think should be taught.
That's right.
We teach you word for word, verbatim,
That's
saying?
Right.
What's in these scriptures, man.
That's right.
You understand? And this brother about to further bring it out more. So I'm going to pass the class over to Priest and Officer Top One. Damn it.
I want to put this on my wall.
Yeah?
That's a proud day.
It's a classic, man. It's
like
championship.
Water. Son Christ. Shalom. First, like my brother, a round of applause, please. A hand clap for my brother. That's my nigga. Praising God for me. Son Christ, like my lateness. You know what I'm saying? Brother bringing out powerful scriptures, man, on that brotherhood, man. Every class we teach is on that topic. So we're going to drive that right into the ground if we have to, man. We're definitely going to let up on that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so Yahweh Shemal Shabbat to the brothers, Yahweh Shemon Shemal to the sisters. You understand? Isupk, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Shalom, Yahweh Shemal. Started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. The Commanding General Yohana. You know what I mean? We teach the truth according to the Bible, man. Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians are the true Jews. You know what I mean? We teach the truth. We teach that we're the true Jews of the Bible, and of course, the oppressor, man, the slave master, the damn. Give me some more. Again, some words that don't have that other word in it. Slave master, the oppressor, slave owner. You know what I mean? Whatever word you want to think of, you know what I mean? He's the devil that the Bible speaks of. You know what I'm saying? The absolute devil. And the history, proof is in the pudding. Me and this brother, man, real quick as well. Yesterday, me and my man, you know what I'm saying? Big priest, officer of 5,000, 5 racks, Natazar, man, out of South Carolina. Me and this brother, he had the, you know what I'm saying, the decency and the brotherhood to allow me to get on with him and help him out with the lecture. That's all I did. And did a masterful job, you know what I'm saying? For my part, I was proud to be able to bring out the information that I brought out, you know what I'm saying? And again, say the water to that brother for allowing me to get on, you know what I'm saying, and do that. It was a very good turnout, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we brought out a lot of Tawab information, so be on the lookout for the next one. Me and his brother, we about to make a whole series out of this and just keep bringing out information, cutting Christianity, cutting all these fake religions, cutting all that nonsense that is not the truth, you know what I'm saying? And so with that being said, we're going to get into Salakia. Could you pass me? No, I can get it. No, sir. Don't use my laptop. So we can read this on. Salakia. I need to get my laptop, you know what I'm saying, so I get my notes and everything together. I'm putting it with juice on the battery. I should be too hot. That's not Christ. So along with what we brought out yesterday, is there any questions before I begin? Pilgrim, the water brother. Pilgrim, that's a good one. Is there any America? That's another good one. Is there any questions, any comments anybody wants to make? Any questions online? Anything like that? Now's the time to post them in the chat. If I can't answer it, I will do so. If not, then you know what I mean, I will get back to you and I'll write down your question. I'll write down your question. Do we have any waters? I will write it down and I will get back to you on it. Okay, so if you got any questions, type it in the chat and I'll try to get to it. Any questions in the room? Anything?
No.
No sweat. All right, so lock you. Let me get my articles together here. So we brought out this lecture, right, that we did yesterday. I'm going to actually piggyback right off the lecture. Talk about something that plagues my mind. So we brought out in this Christianity versus Revolution lecture, Revolution versus Christianity, Salakia. We basically brought out the history, the movement from 1 minute religion not being taught to our ancestors for fear that they would rebel. They would read the Bible, they would see things in the Bible, and it would cause them to rebel. To them realizing that they could use it, you know what I'm saying, to almost train us to be better slaves, which ended up happening, right? All the way to now, all the way up to your orgy mics of the world, Salaki, your Martin Luther Kings of the world. You know what I mean? Your orgy mics, we call him that because he was actually caught in the Watergate Hotel having orgies with Caucasian women. And you know what I'm saying? These figures, this whole idea of selling out, of joining, that's what I want to say, of joining America. This idea that if you join America, you'll prosper. If you join America, even if you got to sell out your brother, even if you got to sell out your people, that's what you should do in order for you to live the life of a, you know what I mean? I guess of a, you call a house slave, you know what I'm saying? Why is a house slave, who's heard that phrase before, but house nigga? Who's heard that phrase before? Why is it called a house nigga? Who was the house nigga? What is a house nigga? What is a house slave? I know we've all heard it. No sweat. We've heard the phrase before. Where does it come from? And why is that an insult today? Or something of an insult today? Let me see. I might have just found some more information. The water. Yes, I'm correct. The water. Yeah. Nobody? Okay. Well, do a little bit of reading on it, but just to make it plain, right? The house slave would be the slave who, or the slaves, because there wasn't just one, it was multiple. Well, especially a lot of times in a larger plantation, you would have slaves that did what would be called like domestic work, so to speak. So you can think of like a person who's a maid, right? A woman who's a maid or a butler, right? That's why if you watch a lot of these movies that talk about like the help and the butler and stuff like that, where it's like a black person who works in their house, they don't respect them, but all of these movies almost kind of like venerate them and look at like, oh, the butler, he was such a, you know what I mean? He was such a good person, you know what I'm saying? And that he endured this and this, and he was with this many presidents. Or you talk about driving Miss Daisy or something like that, something where they worked closely to the slave master, right? As opposed to being a field, right? So the slave master, right? Think of a plantation as, right? You might have a big house, right? But it was a lot of land, right? So you have a big house, but the house has a lot of functions. Remember, this is a business, right? The plantation wasn't just, oh, there's a guy that lives there and he got some people to work. No, these are farmers who own acres of land on which crops grow. So they might own what? They might own a cotton field or several cotton fields or a sugarcane field, right? Or other crops. And in order to increase production, right? Like today, now you have, well, not now so much, but when you might get assembly lines and things like that, right? When you can increase productivity, because if I have a product, right? Let's say I make these books, I make these, and I sell them for this much money. Well, in order for me to make more money, I have to do what? Make more of these. So if by myself I can just make 2 a day, and I can instead make 20 or 30, 40, 50 a day and increase productivity, then now I can make more money. So that's what was happening in these plantations. But as far as the master himself in the house in which he lived, in the big house, right, which he owned, he would need domestic workers inside to keep the day-to-day activities working. A good example of this, I always use this movie, but in Django. In Django, Stephen was the head house nigga or house slave, but he wasn't the only one. There were several. There were several butlers. There were several people who did the food and who did the cooking. All of them would be house slaves, right? Field slaves would be the ones who worked in the field. You know what I'm saying? And their quarters were far off. You know what I'm saying? House slaves would either have rooms, you know what I'm saying, in some portion of the big house or in a separate slave quarter that was closer to the big house. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't be living in the same conditions as field Negroes. You know what I'm saying? So I asked that question, Salakia. I asked that question because that's kind of what we talked about yesterday. I mean, even though you would look at it, well, slavery ended in 1865, so they say, even though that's to a degree a lie, right? But the fact of the matter is, even after slavery ended, we know here that we're still in captivity.
Right.
We're still in slavery.
And if we're still in slavery, then guess what? We still got some field Negroes and some house Negroes.
That's right.
We still got it. They haven't gone nowhere. We still have those of us who feel it best to join themselves with their oppressor, to join with their enemy because they think, well, I can reap sweet rewards from this. You know what I'm saying? And one tactic that I want to get into today is, or one thing that they kind of pushed on us in order to, again, to make us feel that we're a part of this system, even though we're not, is this whole voting thing. They pushed that on us heavily, you know what I'm saying, for many years now. And some old, not even old and young black people, when you tell them you don't vote, what they say? Don't act like I'm talking crazy, because I know y'all heard it before. What do they tell you when you say, I don't vote? Nothing. They don't say nothing to y'all. So y'all have never heard this before. You don't vote. Don't you know that our ancestors died for us to have the right to vote? And you're gonna disrespect the ancestors? God. Not voting? Your man P. Diddy said, vote or die.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, y'all don't remember that? I'm gonna pull that up.
Right.
Diddy had a whole campaign, vote or die. Salakia. Let me see. Yeah, citizen.
Campaign.
Huh?
Like,
a whole campaign.
It wasn't like this something he just mentioned.
No, it wasn't something he said once. It's called Citizen Change. It still exists. It's a political service group founded in 2004 by musician P. Diddy and backed by Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey, and 50 Cent. The stated aim was to get young people and minorities to vote. The campaign's message, promoted on t-shirts and other things, is vote or die. A phrase adapted from Join or Die, a well-known cartoon by Benjamin Franklin.
Good night.
Benjamin Franklin. Ooh-wee. I didn't even bring this up yesterday. Benjamin Franklin actually supported George Whitefield. They was buddies. That's why I did have one quote from him where he said, oh, he can be heard by 30,000. But George Whitefield was so loud and boisterous. And Benjamin Franklin, who was not religious, was a big fan of George Whitefield. They had correspondence with each other. Well, your boy P. Diddy took Benjamin Franklin's Join or Die cartoon and turned it into Vote or Die. P. Diddy said at the time that its mission was to make voting hot and sexy.
What?
The 2004 campaign included a line of Vote or Die t-shirts, an album, a voter registration push in cities and campuses nationwide, and commercials on such outlets as MTV and BET. Now I gotta get this one. First things first, let me get an article. I know Yanzar is coming in here right now, so I'm gonna get him to read it. But before I do that, let me get I'm gonna get a scripture real fast, right? Because we also talking about, as we were in the lecture, these disgusting leaders. You want to make sure you're writing these scriptures down, put them in the precept books and all that. Some of these you heard before. Don't matter, no sweat. Still, it's always good to brush up. So we're going to get Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, everybody.
It sounded like you were talking about the lights out of the room.
It was a blackout.
Yeah, it was a blackout. Yeah, we seen it on the way up here.
Yo, them niggas detoured me all around.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they got mad lights out.
I made it. So
No sweat.
Okay.
So we're gonna read Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2. Take your time, brother. I'm gonna start it, bro.
Come on.
Because Diddy said, vote or die. Right? That's what Diddy said. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 14 and verse 2. Judah mourneth. First of all, who's Judah? Yeah,
So-called African American.
so-called African Americans. But the better way to put that, right? That's one way you can say it. The best way to say that is so-called Negroes, right? Because you got so-called Negroes where? All over the world, right? We mostly in America, right? But you got so-called Negroes, you know what I mean, and all over the place. Matter of fact, Captain Cottis, I brought it up the other day, man. Dennis Rodman, he's a Judite, as far as we know, and he got like 30 siblings in Vietnam. 30 siblings in Vietnam because his father was in the military and went over to Vietnam and was popping out babies with Moabites left and right. So, but they would be Judah, you know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
So so-called Negro, right? It says Judah mourneth, right? So Judah also is the full word for Jew. So if somebody says the word Jew, somebody claim they're a Jew and they don't know who Judah is, you better call them out on that.
Right.
That's where the word Jew comes from. It's short for Judah, right? Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. What is a gate?
Protection.
A gate is a protective barrier, right? It's for protection. It's to protect you from outside forces. They can't get in because you don't want them to get in. Huh? Salakia. No, I'm Twa. I'm sure. I'm Twa. So you good? You know something? She good. We good. The water, brother.
I'm good.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I want some ice. Give me an ice cup.
Oh, yeah.
You all right? Yeah. Most high Christ.
It's the water, bro. It says Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. Our leaders, man. Our leaders. We're gonna read on to get the full context. They are black unto the ground. The Jews are black, man. The real Jews are black. That's what it says. It says they are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is going up. The Jews are more than they are black unto the ground, right? You see what's going on in the ghettos of America. You see what's going on in Cornwallis. You see what's going on in the ghettos of New York, the ghettos of Maryland, the ghettos of LA, the ghettos of Chicago. Wherever you go, the Jews, so-called blacks and Hispanics, are in mourning, right? And guess what? They are black. It's very obvious, you know what I'm saying? But it says the gates thereof languish. Why? Because our leaders are, what does it mean for something to languish? What does that word mean? What does languish mean? Anybody?
Let me look it up.
Yeah, please do. Again, I like that Merriam-Webster, if you can.
Comment one guy. Merriam-Webster. Law again. Skip for now. Loading definitions. Focus. Okay. I don't need to log in. Merriam-Webster. Search. Okay. Which.
Salaki, brother, I didn't see your response, but that's exactly what they say. Ours is down for the right to vote. Yeah, that.
To language. To be or become feeble, weak, or enervated.
Or innervated, to become weak or feeble, right? So to languish means to become weak. So if you have a gate, right?
There's another one that's good too.
Yeah, read it.
To be or live in a state of depression or decreasing vitality.
Read the next one.
To become dispirited.
Read the next one.
To suffer neglect.
If you have a gate, a strong gate, and you neglect it, right? And it gets all of the elements, you know what I'm saying, wear it down, and it rusts, and so on and so forth. After a long time, it's going to become what?
Useless.
Useless. It's going to be so weak to the point that anybody can just kick it open. The lock's going to be rusted over, be easy to break in. So it will completely have lost its usefulness. Its purpose is gone now. So now, brother, if you can do me a favor and read that one, Jeremiah 14:2.
Comment.
The water.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2.
Right, our leaders, man. We're talking about our leaders, man. So not just, you know, your Christian pastor is definitely, you know, the number one culprit. But we look at these celebrities as leaders. Tell me I'm lying. You know what I'm saying? We look, and that's how they're able to get in these positions. And even, like, imagine that. Do you think that, do white people need Celine Dion to tell them to participate in their government? Do white people need goddamn Elton John to tell them what to do with their, you know what I'm saying, with their political affiliations? Black people look to people like P. Diddy and Jay-Z to decide what we should do as a nation. Good night.
You know what I mean? That is absolutely asinine. These people are not leaders. They're celebrities. They're entertainers. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna listen to what Jay-Z has to tell you what to do about how to be a better black person? How to get by in life? Again, give me some more. Do white people listen to Shania Twain and who else? Who do they listen to? First of all, I don't even know who they listen to. Yeah.
They listen to their politicians and the leader of their organization.
Right. They listen to their politicians. They have people set aside to be certain leaders in their communities, and they follow them. They follow the people. What I mean is, they don't follow celebrities. They don't say, "Oh, let me go vote for whoever Leonardo DiCaprio is voting for." You know what I'm saying? They don't say, "Oh, let me go ahead and follow," you know what I mean, whoever's the best baseball player. I don't know, Bryce Harper or whoever the heck. Let me go listen to him. He knows what's up. No, all he can do is swing it back. You know what I'm saying? All Leonardo DiCaprio can do is act. And they know that. They don't look to them to decide how to govern their lives. But blacks and Hispanics, we are told what to do by people who can rap well and sing well. You know what I mean? Again, I'm going to go back and read the top of this. Citizen Change, a political service group founded in 2004 by musician P. Diddy and backed by Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey, and 50 Cent. The stated aim was to get young people and minorities to vote. The campaign's message, promoted on t-shirts and other things, is vote or die, a phrase adapted from Join or Die, a well-known cartoon by Benjamin Franklin. These people just wanted you to be part of the American system.
Right.
They wanted you to join. Let me get that one too. What you got? Salaki, 1 second. Let me see. And I need, man, where's my pop? No, nothing. Hey, Salaki, brother, you know that bag I got that looks kind of like a hat? Don't ask questions. It should be in my trunk. Yeah. Huh? What happened? He's what? No, he's what, brother? Good night. They making fun of me, man, because of my bag. I got it from my pops, man. It's an old bag, right? Whole Proverbs 11 to 21.
11 and 21.
Yeah, hold what you got and give me whole Proverbs 11 to 21. We're gonna finish the one you got first. Most High in Christ.
Hands up.
Oh, snap. Does look like that.
Good night. The water's on this. Yo, why you gotta hold the hell up like that for the camera? You're supposed to do on the sneak tip. Come on, man. You got that, brother?
Where did you get that bag?
How my pops gave it to me, but I kind of took it.
That's just unique.
He said it's unique. Good night. Right. Go ahead and read Jeremiah from the top real fast.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2.
Right, because you think that, you know what I'm saying, that people who rap well and can sing a couple notes, can riff and run and act, are the people who you should listen to. Read that.
Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof language.
And the gates thereof language. The gates they hanging off the hinges, man.
Damn right.
It is useless. Your real leaders are useless. Your fake leaders are useless. Why? Because they're not really leaders.
That's right.
The Bible calls your Christian pastor what? A dumb dog.
Right.
They're blind. They can't see. How's it going to protect you? Man, I got a dog in my house, a little dog. My dog, right? He ain't about to protect nothing. You know what I'm saying? He's relatively small. But if someone even steps foot in front of my door, I know they're there because he starts going insane. Now imagine if that happened and he was just chilling. Imagine he didn't make no noise, he didn't move, he didn't do. Matter of fact, Salah, you hold what you got. I'm gonna get it real fast. I gotta do it. Salakia. Because we putting our faith in the wrong people, man. Isaiah chapter 56 and verse 10. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They're all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. They just want to sleep. That's what they want to do. Right? Verse 11, this goes right into the topic. Yea, they are greedy dogs, which can never have enough. And they are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way, everyone for his gain, from his quarter. Now, I know y'all be on social media. I just read that one of the supporters of this movement, even though it was started by P. Diddy, was 50 Cent. 50 Cent. I mean, do y'all be? It seems from how he acts. Like he is like a grown man who's like a 13-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Everything he does, it seems to be for self in some way. No matter what he does, at the end of it, it's like he's looking out for himself. You know what I mean? And he's supporting this, and you're gonna go listen to him. Finish Jeremiah from the top again.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish.
Right.
They are black unto the ground.
And what?
They are black unto the ground.
Real Jews are black and they're languishing because their leaders ain't worth a damn. Nothing.
Right.
They're not worth it. P. Diddy and these people are not looking out for your best interests. You want to know what a real leader does? A real leader goes through hell to make sure that the truth gets to the ears of every black, Hispanic, and Native Indian in the world,
Right.
to the best of his ability. He sacrifices himself and goes through all the scrutiny and goes through all the turmoil that a man would go through to protect something as, valuable as this truth.
Right.
Who am I talking about? The only man worth leading this nation. Give me that, brother.
Commander,
Give a hand for Commander General Yohana.
Right.
Man. What the hell sacrifice Diddy ever made for black people? What the hell sacrifice 50 Cent ever made for black people? Good night. You know what I'm saying? If you look up the history of these people, a lot of times you'll see that when it came to black people, they said, basically they don't really give a damn. They've been on some A$AP Rocky. A$AP Rocky said, play. You know what I'm saying? In the public sphere. That's how they view it. Everything they do for personal gain. That's the one I really like right here. We're getting into some not just some history, current events and history on who's voting, right? The 2008 presidential election. P. Diddy invoked the phrase. So we went from Benjamin Franklin, right? Said join or die, right? A well-known cartoon, right? Let me see Salak here. What was he saying join or die for? It's political cartoon. What was he saying it for? Representation of colonial union. Oh, wait a minute. This looks familiar. Hold up now. A political cartoon, Salaki. I gotta pull this up because this should be a familiar image, right? It's a little bit different than the one. Let me see. Salaki, bear with me real fast while I pull this up. Join or Die by Benjamin Franklin, a political cartoon commentary on the disunity of the North American and British colonies, was later used to encourage the former colonies to unite against British rule. So this was about the formulation. This is before 1776. This is before America became America, the United States of America. But before it could do that, the whole point was what? It was believed that the British and American colonies were not seeing eye to eye, and a lot of people like Benjamin Franklin were trying to rally the troops on the North American side to go against Great Britain. But he felt they were too disjointed. They had to get together. They had to unify in order so they can fight this big common enemy. And so he had this. This is the image, and I hope y'all can see it. I'm gonna try to show it on the joint. But if y'all go closer, just so y'all can see that. Right? Y'all ever seen that before?
Of course, yeah, I've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the original 13
right?
colonies.
The original 13 colonies. It was saying join or die, right?
That was also the original flag.
Right, the original flag that said what? Don't tread on me, right? That snake. But that's why the snake here is disjointed and broken up. Because he's saying join or die. Come together or we're gonna lose. So then he decided to take this and turn it into vote or die. And then from that, this is the one that's crazy. P. Diddy invoked the 2008 presidential election. P. Diddy invoked the phrase Obama or die at the BET Awards 2008. Good night. So, Salakia, in 2012, the Vote or Die t-shirt concept was resurrected for the Democratic National Convention in the form of parody Vote Obama t-shirts. So these celebrities push this agenda of voting, right? Of voting for certain people on blacks and other minorities, right? They wanted you to join. Now read the other one I gave you, Azam. Because he got it from Join or Die. Let's see what the Bible says about joining.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 1.
11, 21.
21. Like it. The book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 21. Though hand join in hand.
So what?
Though hand join in hand.
We shall.
Oh, man. When I was coming up, man, everybody had to sing that song.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I guess I'm showing my age here. I thought everyone knew that one.
We sing that in school.
Yeah, that's an old one. We shall overcome. What's the other one? The one with Michael Jackson and them, we are the world, we are the children. My are looking at me like I'm absolutely insane. You never heard that song? Good night. Well, look it up, brother. It was all about holding hands and we are the world. You got the Rainbow Coalition. You got a bunch of people holding. What you got?
It was for like a particular country was starving.
Right.
I think it was one of the African countries. There was a lot of starvation, and they wanted to raise money, so they got all these celebrities together and they made this song. It was everywhere you went, you heard this song. I don't care if you was in the corner store, you heard this song.
Right. We are the world. We are the children and all that. I think Stevie Wonder was in there. Paul McCartney, Michael Jackson. They got all these people to sing this song. Dionne Warwick, man.
Elton John.
They got every big singer to sing on this joint, man. I think it's the same one. They showed Michael Jackson singing his heart out, and they had Cyndi Lauper in them, and they couldn't sing a lick. And Michael Jackson was looking at them like, what? What is this? It was for that joint, right? We are the world, we are the children, right? Read it from the top.
Though hand join in hand.
Though hand join in hand. You can try to join America if you want to. You can join America all you want. You know what I mean? If you join America, then you know what you're joining yourself to? You're joining yourself to the oppressor.
That's right.
You're joining yourself to the people that hate your people, but you already knew that, didn't you, Diddy? You already were willing to do that. You already were willing to sell out your people so you can make a buck. You understand? If you join America, not only are you joining your oppressor, heck, you join America, you're joining homosexuality. You join America, you're joining pedophilia.
Right.
You join America, you're joining bestiality. You're joining every disgusting sin under the sun. You're joining raping and robbing people, man. You're joining the people who slaughtered the Native American Indian, man, who enslaved our people. That's who you're joining. You're telling black people to vote or die. To vote for what? An American government, the same government that my grandmother picked cotton. When I said my grandmother, I didn't say my great grandmother. My grandmother, like the woman who raised me, picked cotton in South Carolina. This is real. And you want me to vote for some Hamite? And you're gonna lie to my face and tell me he's the first black president? Well, let's see some history on that. Salaki, let me get more. You got more on that? Read it from the top.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished.
You can join America all you want, but if you join America, then you're joining yourself unto a nation that is going to be destroyed. You're joining yourself to a people who got, they got something coming to them for their atrocities. So why would you want to even implicate yourself in that? You know what I'm saying? Salakia. I'm going to send you, I sent you one article already. I'm going to send you, Salakia, another two, actually. Let me know when you got it. I'm going to tell you which one I need you to read right now in just a second.
Oh, this I want this one. Damn, I got a few.
No, I don't have anything yet. Oh no.
Yeah, it says they went through, so they should be
Yeah, I got you.
the water.
I got why Asian Americans don't vote.
Yep.
And I got America wasn't a democracy until.
Mm-hmm. That one, but let me see. This is the one I want first to read this. So back is by the bottom. Yeah. It's a lot. Yeah, just read this a lot. Yeah. Copy. All right, so this one I'm sending right now. This is what I want you to read right now. If you can, Bob, can show.
How minority voters helped.
Yep, that's the one.
Okay.
When you get it, you can go ahead and start reading it. Because we're talking about how they try to get us to participate in their government and lie to us and told us that this is what's going to change things for us. That voting is the key. That's why Diddy said vote or die, right? Obama or die. So go ahead and read that when you got it.
How minority voters helped Obama win re-election.
Mm-hmm.
Americans from ethnic minority groups voted en masse to help President Barack Obama win re-election.
Right.
While just 39% of white Americans voted for Obama on election day 2012, the staggering amount of blacks, Hispanics, and Asians backed the president at the ballot box.
Mm-hmm.
The reasons for this are multifaceted, but minority voters largely supported the president because they felt that the Republican candidate, Mitt Romney, would not relate to them.
Mm-hmm.
A national exit poll revealed that 81% of Obama supporters said that the quality that mattered most to them in a presidential candidate is whether he cares about people like me.
Mm-hmm.
Romney, born into wealth and privilege, apparently didn't fit the bill.
Huh.
The growing disconnect between Republicans and diverse Americans elaborate the diverse American electorate wasn't lost on political analyst Matthew Dowd.
Mm-hmm.
He remarked on ABC News that after the election, that the Republican Party no longer reflects U.S. society.
Right.
Using a television show analogy to make his point. Republicans
Drop down to where it says blacks may be. There's loyal African Americans. Drop down to where it says blacks.
Blacks may be the second largest minority group in the United States, but their share of the electorate is larger than any other community of color.
What does that mean? Go ahead, brother.
That blacks have more people eligible to vote.
What do you mean by that? More people eligible to vote than who?
Than Hispanics and other minority groups.
Eligible in what way?
Meaning that they're more involved in the system, they're registered to vote.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have an affinity to one particular political party, things like that.
Okay.
And they're more likely to vote.
Right. That's what I want. The fact of the matter is, other people can vote as well. But what we're going to find out is that they're just not, they don't do it as much. Keep reading.
On election day 2012, African Americans made up 13% of the U.S. voters. 93% of these voters supported Obama's re-election bid, down just 2% from 2008.
So 93% of black people voted for Barack Obama. 13% of the U.S. voter turnout was 13% made up by black people. What is the percentage of black people in America? Black people make up what percentage of the American population? About what?
About 12.
About 12%. So we actually found a way to be more representative in the voter polls than even our numbers reflect. Meaning that
while these campaigns to get black people to vote, you might as well call them a success. Because we went out in record numbers. I got a matter of fact, you hold that, I'm going to read from this article. In record numbers, we went out there and participated in this government. Salakia. Where is it? This is the one I want, Pew Research. Yep. It says the growing electoral clout of blacks is driven by turnout, not demographics. It says blacks voted at a higher rate this year than other minority groups. This is from, where is this from? 2012. Other minority groups, and for the first time in history, may also have voted at a higher rate than whites, according to a Pew Research Center analysis of census data, election day exit poll data, and vote totals from selected cities and counties. Did y'all hear what I just read? This brother just said that black people represent 12% of the U.S. population. But according to this thing that I'm reading right now, this article, in 2012, we might have actually voted more than white people.
It's crazy, man.
How? I don't even understand how that's even possible.
Man, I remember that. Man, them little old ladies who never voted in their life, man, was coming out the projects.
Right.
You know, like going to the, it was crazy.
Right. I remember that's exactly what happened. It was like some kind of, like some kind of celebratory thing.
Like most black people felt that they would never see a black president, what they thought was a black president in their lifetime. So they were motivated by that too as well. That was a large motivation.
That definitely is a large part. It probably would be in that article. I'm gonna read on. Salakia. Unlike other minority groups whose increasing electoral muscle has been driven mainly by population growth, blacks' rising share of the vote in the past 4 presidential elections has been the result of rising turnout rates. What does that mean? I'll read it again. It says, unlike other minority groups whose increasing electoral muscle has been driven mainly by population growth, blacks' rising share of the vote in the past 4 presidential elections has been the result of rising turnout rates. What does that mean? Go ahead.
It means that more and more black people are voting.
Right, true. But what does the part at the beginning, what's it saying about other minorities?
They're voting less.
Not quite. No sweat. I'll give it to you because you're on it. It says, unlike other minority groups whose increasing electoral muscle has been driven mainly by population growth. Okay. Right? We're going to read in the next article, right? For example, the population of Asian Americans might be 5%, right? But whatever their percentage of vote, let's say 8% of them go to the voting polls. If their population increases by 1%, even if their percentage of voters stays consistent, it's going to grow. It's going to, because their population grew. So now 8% of 8 million is more than 8% of 7 million. So their electoral, college abilities are growing, but only because their numbers are growing, because their populations are growing. But it says, unlike them, blacks' rising share of the vote in the past 4 presidential elections, 4, not just Obama, but in the past 4 presidential elections has been the result of rising turnout rates. In other words, niggas was listening to P. Diddy.
Right.
P. Diddy said vote or die, and they believed that. They said, no, there ain't no sweat. Let me go do this. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to die. Like, let me go ahead and vote. He said Obama or die in 2012, and what happened? We somehow managed to vote more than white people. As if that was even possible. But we did it. We did it. And black people always talk about what we say, man, we could just come together. If we could just figure a way to unite, then we can do this. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Unite under what? Unite under what? Under what premise? Under what ideology? Because it seems that we have no problem uniting to vote for you know what I'm saying, for some Hamite from Hawaii named Barack Hussein Obama. We had no problem getting together to make that happen. They said that black people can't get together to get nothing done. We got together and got that man in the office twice. After 4 years of him doing nothing for black people, what do? We went right back to them polls and voted him in again, just like we had done before. Salakia. These participation milestones are notable not just in light of the long history of black disenfranchisement, but also in light of recently enacted state voter identification laws that some critics contended would suppress turnout disproportionately among blacks and other minority groups. In fact, according to census data and the election day exit polls, blacks made up 12% of the eligible electorate this year, but accounted for an estimated 13% of all votes cast. A repeat of the 2008 presidential election, when blacks overperformed at the polls by the same ratio. In all previous presidential elections for which there are reliable data, blacks had accounted for a smaller share of votes than eligible voters. The candidacy in 2008-2012 of Barack Obama, the nation's first black president, is no doubt one of the main reasons for these new patterns. There are other explanations as well, including the increased racial and ethnic diversity of the electorate and the declining turnout rate among whites. Good night. White people are voting less. They're not even bothering to go. What's the point? They're still going to be rich. You're still going to be poor.
Right.
They're still going to have jobs. You're still going to be unemployed. Y'all do know that Donald Trump, one of the things, he's always trying to get black people to realize that they should love him. One of the things that he always talks about is how, go ahead.
What do you got to lose?
What do you have to lose? But what is a tangible thing that he says, I did this. I did this for black people.
And he says that black unemployment is at a record low.
Right.
That's one of the things I know that he says all the time.
Is that true?
No, I don't believe it.
According to the numbers, is it true?
Like I said, man, I don't know. I don't believe nothing that man says. I don't.
No sweat. But he got to get his data from somewhere.
Yeah, but that don't mean he's telling the truth.
But what I'm asking is this question:
does he lie every day?
Of course, absolutely.
I don't. In the hood, right? Is there really any difference in the hood, man? Come on, man. That's what I want.
Right. That's the point. Even if unemployment rates are down, right? For example, we know abortion rates are down, right? They are down. We don't, in the 90s, abortion rates were higher, right? Here's the problem though. Black women still abort babies at triple the rate of the races from even years ago.
Right.
We're still the worst in that category. We're still the most unemployed. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all smoke and mirrors. It don't matter who you vote for. Unemployment rates, whether they even change a little bit or not, it's still going to be black people. Yeah, you might have changed. So some of the what do you call it? Salakia. Unemployment rates might change, but last time I checked, you still got Mexican babies in cages. Please,
if I may, he never divulges his sources of information. He throw that out there, but he's never given us statistics or where he got the statistics from. He's never done that. I don't believe nothing.
That's a simple Google. You can Google unemployment rates. I'm looking at it right now. So unemployment rates during Obama were some of the worst ever. Yeah. Horrible. Right? The lowest unemployment rate, it seems to be over the past 10 years. The lowest is right now. This is the national, right? This is not among black people. This is the national unemployment rate, which of course black people are going to be factored into that. But unemployment rates all across the board are at their lowest. Right? That's what they tell us. But like you said, the ghetto has not changed.
That's right.
The ghetto has not changed for all of his economic jargon or whatever. Black people are still dying left and right. Police brutality hasn't changed yet.
You know, like I'm going to use Harlem as an example.
Please.
Okay, they might have more people in Harlem on the books working, but all of those businesses that black people are employed in are gone.
Right.
So it's like not really a net gain. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said it's smoke and mirrors. You know what I mean? It's smoke and mirrors. And then to go on what you said, let's get a scripture real fast to speak on that and go with the topic. One of my favorites. Give me Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10. Because your leaders would have you go and shake hands with and believe in. That's what this really comes down to. What benefit is there to go out and vote for whoever the hell it is? What benefit? Like Salakia, the beginning of this class, and my brother Sadak brought it out, right? He said it too. That phrase, your ancestors died for your ability to vote. Just because my ancestors, let's just say that's true, right? Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that's true. Who the hell says my ancestor is the smartest person in the world, and that just because he did something, I gotta goddamn go follow after it? We read it in the lecture. Some of our ancestors were snitching. Black informant. Should I go ahead and snitch on my brothers because it's in the family history? Because it's tradition? Your traditions, isn't there a scripture that says that? That we threw away the laws of God to keep after the traditions of men? Who gives a damn about what art? Just because my ancestors did something, I have to examine it and see, well, were they in the right? Was it the right thing to do? You know what I mean? The people who are saying that, first of all, don't know no goddamn history. I don't know what ancestor they're talking about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This just sounds nice to them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Your ancestors died to you, so I guess like people used to be like, they don't say that when it comes to nothing else. I don't know about y'all, but back in the day, I used to get on the bus all the time. Q23, the Q88. When I got on, you know where I sat? In the back. I don't give a damn. That's where I want to sit. Right. Are they gonna say, "Oh, you shouldn't sit in the back because your ancestors died"? What the hell? This is foolery.
Right.
I wish there was a black and white water fountain right now.
Me too. That's true.
I wish there was one right now.
Damn right.
I wish there was black and white bathrooms. I wish that. I do not want to go in the bathroom after oppressors. Salaki. Go ahead.
And plus, our bathrooms would be clearly male and female.
Right. Most High in Christ. Give him a hand. Our bathrooms would be clearly male and female. You don't got to worry about a 6'5", you know what I'm saying, bodybuilder named Lisa coming in there, you know what I'm saying, and looking at your children. You don't got to worry about that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I would rather let us do our own thing over here. I don't want to sit on the bus with you. I don't want to drink on the same water fountain as you. I don't want to go to your restaurant. Your food sucks. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't want to go there. Half the time even when you go to their restaurant, if the restaurant even worth anything, who's working in the back? Black people,
right.
Hispanic people, Mexicans, our Isupk brothers. It ain't a bunch of goddamn college preppies. You know what I'm saying? Right. In there cooking. It'd be Julio and Daquan.
That's right.
That's who's back there cooking that food. You know what I'm saying? Half the time you don't see them. They parade one or two brothers out there to go serve. Everybody else who's getting the tips and everything be some oppressor. You know what I'm saying? Some blue-eyed devil. Go ahead,
Yeah, like the hostess might be
right.
So-called oppressor.
Right.
But in the kitchen, man, ain't nothing but
exactly. In the kitchen ain't nothing but Negroes and niggas and spics in dirty aprons, sweating up a storm.
Right.
Back there dying. You know what I'm saying? They're not the ones being paraded out there looking pretty, getting all the tips, but they're the ones making it happen. But yeah, I would prefer the separation. But your fake leaders, excuse me, your favorite rapper and your favorite singer and actor and whatever else, they told you to join your oppressor. That you gotta vote. You gotta be in their system. I heard people say that too. Oh, you gotta change the system from the inside. Good night. What? tomfoolery is this? Read that, brother. You got it? Ecclesiasticus?
Comment on the book of Ecclesiastes, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12, verse 12. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place.
Read it from the top, please, Salakia. Nice and slow.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12, verse 12.
Verse 11, sorry, Salakia, verse 10. Start at verse 10.
Start at 10?
Yes, start there.
Never, verse 10, never trust thine enemy.
Sometimes you got to give him a chance.
Never trust thine enemy.
You got to shake hands with him and sit with him on the front of the bus.
Never trust thine enemy.
The Bible says never trust thine enemy. So what the hell is P. Diddy trying to get us to do? First of all, the Bible says we have enemies. God's chosen people have enemies.
Right.
Unbeknownst to our people. Why? Because they listen to goddamn Mariah Carey. I can't believe I have to say this. I cannot believe I have to tell people not to, like, Mariah Carey doesn't know what you should do as black people.
She don't know what she should do.
Right, she don't. These people are Salakia. But you know what? It makes sense for them to teach you to join white people. Why? Because your favorite rapper is homosexual. I don't know if you know this. Your favorite rapper he's an actual closeted homosexual.
Right.
So of course he wants you to join with the oppressor, because in the oppressor's world, you know it's okay to be a homosexual.
Right.
Oh, or maybe your Christian pastor or your leader has a penchant for orgies with Caucasian women. Well, if we don't join them, where is he going to find the white girls at? Where's he going to get them? Can't get them. You don't want them nappy-headed females in the ghetto. You don't want that.
Right. That's
not for him. Guess what? I'll take it, okay? Tabawan and my brothers in the UPK, we're going to take them fine black sisters, them Hispanic women and Native Indian women. That's what we'll do, right? You go ahead and sleep with your, you know what I'm saying, with Lassie,
right,
and the Cocker Spaniels all day long.
Right.
We're good, right? Because we follow what the Bible says. Read that.
Never trust thine enemy.
Don't trust your enemy. Read on.
For like as from what?
For like as iron.
For like as iron. Clean my damn glass. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
So is his wickedness. His wickedness is like when iron rusted. Read on.
Verse 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching,
right?
Yet take good heed and beware of him.
So he humbles himself and goes crouching. What's that mean? Get up.
He come around, he acting like he down with you. He nice, he's humble, he giving you respect. But all the while, he plotting on you.
Most High in Christ. He humbles himself and he goes crouching. When an animal crouches, Most High in Christ, that's what it means. Right. When an animal, when an animal, a vicious animal, right, that is a predator, when it crouches, it's preparing to attack. When it crouches, it's looking to see, okay, where can I go? Where's my point of entry?
Right.
Right? So although he humbled himself, no crouch, read on.
Yeah, take good and be with it and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst white a looking glass.
Right. That's why it's saying it's like when iron rusted, right? He humbles himself, right? Right. And even when he does cry, that's why your answer wasn't necessarily wrong, Salakia, right? Because he appears like he's almost like he's submitted himself.
Right.
So you're right in that way. It seems that way. It looks that way. He humbles himself and goes crouching. But read from the crouching again. He humbles himself and goes crouching. But
take good heed of him.
But take good heed. Don't rest on your laurels. Read on.
Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst white a looking glass.
Read on.
And thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether.
So just as iron rusteth, read up, finish that, Salakia.
That's 12.
Okay, so it's the end of 11. Start from where it says,
and thou
shalt be unto him.
And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass. And thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away.
Right, Salaki. So it says it's like iron rusted because iron, right, when it gets that after a certain amount of time, that oxygen gets on it, oxidation, and it rusteth over. But if it's like if you wipe the looking glass, right, and you wiped it and you can see, oh no, there's still some rust on there. So that's the metaphor it's using. It's like if you beware of him,
You can see it.
you can see it, right? If you beware of him, and you, even though he goes crouching and he may look humble, you beware of him, you'll be as one who wiped the looking glass. You'll be able to say, no, he's still evil.
Right.
He's still unrighteous. He's still waiting to pounce.
Right.
You know.
Verse 12. Set him not by thee.
Wait a minute. Do what?
Set him not by thee.
No, we're one nation.
Set him not by
No,
thee.
this is America. We got to join hands.
Set him not by thee.
Vote or die.
Not by thee.
You know.
Lest would he have overthrown thee.
When he has done what?
Overthrown thee.
No, we have to join them so we can get ahead in life.
Overthrown thee.
Read on.
He stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand.
Wait a minute. Neither let him do what?
Sit at thy right hand.
And I wish I had that screen behind me right now with MLK sitting next to that devil. I wish I did.
And he was sitting at his right hand.
And he was sitting on his right side. You see how you working afterwards, you be reading stuff, but it's all it's too wild, no sweat. Right? Read on.
And though at the last remember my word and be pricked therewith.
Right, you sit him next to you, right? Don't let him sit at your right hand because he's going to end up taking your seat, right? And at the last minute, you're going to remember what I said. Read on. This is the part really.
Verse 13. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent?
Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent? You know, what is a snake charmer? What is a snake charmer? Or a charmer? Go ahead.
Well, a snake charmer basically hypnotizes you with music.
He's the Indian cat with the turban on the and the snake be coming out of the little joint, right? That's what happens, right? That's a snake charmer, right?
Yeah.
But it says, read it from the top.
Who will pity a charmer?
Who will pity a charmer? Read on.
That is bitten by a snake.
How am I going to pity a snake charmer? He was in the thing chilling until you started playing. If you'd have just put the flute down, he'd have stayed in there and you'd be safe. But no, you wanted to play a joint and then here come the snake and now you got bit. I'm gonna have pity for you? Hell no. Guess what? I don't got no goddamn pity for MLK.
Right.
None. Because you said what? Because you were a snake charmer. You were a snake charmer and you sat your enemy right by you. Literally at your right hand. And you got bit by the serpent. Go ahead, read on out.
This is the funny part right here, because this is white people to the T. Or any such as come nigh to wild beasts.
Or any as such come nigh unto wild beasts. That is like a white people rite of passage. You know what I'm saying? At some point, they have to go to a safari, jump out of the truck, and go close to the nearest wild animal to get the best footage they can. My man Jamie Foxx said it best. They end up getting eaten every single time and they be in a goddamn whale's mouth filming still, like, you know, I'm right here in the belly of the beast. They got me. That's how their lives go. They love to get near some vicious animal, you know, and be surprised when it literally bites them. What's the name? Siegfried and Roy? They thought they had that tiger under wraps. They thought they was good. That tiger took a bite out of life. Didn't they bite one of their face off or something like that?
Yeah, but they changed the whole circus culture with that shit.
Right. I mean, you can do Siegfried and Roy. I mean, them killer whales.
The woman that had the chimpanzee.
The chimpanzee ripped her face. Oh, do you know how strong a chimpanzee is?
10 times stronger than a man.
Do you know how stupid you have to be?
She had him in his house, in our house.
You know what? I'm glad. Most High in Christ. Bro, I can tell you how I was for that chimpanzee ripping that woman's face off. Because she's now a wonderful example for me to tell black people to stay away from their oppressors.
Right, that's right.
Stay away from them. The Bible is calling them wild beasts. And serpents. If you get near a serpent, it's like it. If you charm a serpent, you might get bit. If you come nigh unto wild beasts, if you get near an alligator, and they love to do that too. I mean, your boy Steve Irwin, he loved what they call him the crocodile hunter.
Yeah.
This fool, he got stabbed in the heart by a stingray.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know they could do that. Salakia, I really didn't. I did not know that stingrays could. Stingray, I guess I should have known, right? Salakia, but I didn't know that. He got it like pierced his chest and he died. A stingray. Good night. Not Shamu. One of them other killer whales, I forgot his name, was an orca, right? At SeaWorld. And I hear that thing went crazy on this woman. So like on this white woman.
Then he took her leg off.
It did more than that. From what I understand, like it was like toying with her. Like it like yoked her up in the middle of the performance. And was like bringing her down under the water for like a little while. And then it would bring her up and she'd be breathing and be messed up. And it would bring her down again until finally it like started like the town and ate her up. But this is what they do. They love to get nigh on the wild beasts. They make movies about it. I was really young. I was like 4, right?
Oh,
Free will.
yeah.
Do you know that many years later that those animals are called killer whales? I didn't know that. I just thought, I'm saying with the black, oh, that's nice. I didn't know that then they started releasing the documentaries on SeaWorld. Like, oh, those are killer whales. Are dangerous. I'm saying my simple behind might have gone to SeaWorld and been like, oh, I want to be down, and I'd have been in trouble. Right? But the Bible is saying, guess what? Shamu, snakes, crocodiles, stingrays has nothing on the oppressor. Right?
Right.
Has nothing on the devil the Bible speaks of.
Right.
Because guess what? A killer whale will kill one person. Maybe 2 people. Stingray will stab one dude. A monkey will rip off some stupid woman's face. But this beast destroys nations.
Right.
Destroys complete and utter races of people.
Right.
Wipes them out to the point where you be like, damn, I haven't seen, like, imagine that. It's like, not only, like, there are animals that don't exist no more, right? Like the dodo bird, right? That was a real animal, they said. The dodo bird, a big, ugly thing.
They ate him. They killed him all.
They ate him.
He was so easy to catch. Like,
he was the fool.
Yeah, he was on an island. He had no predators.
Okay.
So he didn't know how to flee. So they was like,
I feel like them turtles was pretty big too.
They didn't big, but you know, they said they were stupid. It wasn't that they were stupid. It was just that the island that they were on they had no predators. So when the white man came there,
they was just chilling like, what's up?
Yeah, like, and then they just started. It was easy to catch them.
My God,
they never had to flee from nothing. And they wiped the niggas out in like 30 years.
That's a damn shame. Not, to be honest with you, not saying I would want to see a dodo bird up close, but if they here on Earth, then they're supposed to be here. But this man is a vicious, disgusting. He's the worst beast. Somebody find me that scripture, man. Somebody find me the one where it says, man, he's the most subtle beast. That's what I want.
That's in Genesis, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Genesis 11.
You know what I mean? Because that's why the Bible is saying this. And people like Diddy, your leaders, so like our leaders, told us that we have to join him. We have to participate in this government. How about this? You don't got to worry about voting. You don't got to worry about joining the white man's military. You don't got to worry about being a part of his government or any of that. How about this? Just show your loyalty to the. How about doing that? How about caring enough for blacks and Hispanics? You know what I'm saying? To sacrifice a little something and learn about being a brother. Learn about brotherhood and sisterhood. Right. Under the true men of the Lord, man. Under the real priests and prophets. How about doing that? You know what I'm saying? Read that when you got it, brother.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
Now the serpent was more what?
Subtle.
What's that?
It was more sneaky, more seductive.
Look it up. You want it? Let's get the exact definition. That's right. I got it right here. Subtile, adjective, subtle, elusive, right? This is the one. 2, cunning, and crafty, right? So subtile is like cunning, you know? Characterized by willingness and trickery. Prettily appealing, right? I'm 12. So to be subtile, right, is essentially
What?
it's cunningness. It's being subtle, it's subtlety in a way to subdue something, right? It's like a snake. Like it's hard to see a snake in the grass, right? Because it's able to hide itself, and before you even realize what happened, it's already done attacked you. Right. That's what we're dealing with. That's why so many of our people don't understand and they don't like our message. That's why so many of our people fall victim. And that's why there is no doubt in my mind, there should be no doubt in anyone's mind. That's why when some fake Israelite group tells me that, Salaki, read it again, brother, that the devil is not the oppressor man in this country.
You read subtitles?
Yeah, I want you to read it. Read subtitle from the top.
I think I put it away.
No sweat.
I'll find it real quick.
Come on. They say, Salaki, fake Israelite groups tell you that the Arabs, Edom is the Arabs. Y'all ever heard that?
Yeah, I've heard that. And I heard a debate between two fake Israelite group about it. You know, I think it was Sakari and this other group, I can't remember the name. They was having a debate on whether the white man was the devil or was the Arabs. This shit was nonsense.
Disgusting. So that comes from a lack of brotherhood. We shouldn't even, you know what I'm saying? From a lack of brotherhood. If we all was together and under one banner like we're supposed to be, these dumb doctrines wouldn't even be existing.
Right. Like, there's so much proof in the Bible that the white man is the devil. I can't hardly understand how anybody can think it's anybody but that.
Well, I can understand not how, because there is no way how. It's nonsense. The devil is the devil, right? Learning, some people just love the oppressor. Love them. They love the oppressor so much that they will literally be like, there's somebody's in front of them killing them every day and murdering their family and selling and putting drugs in their communities and putting disease in their community and poison in their food. Right. And they will look over that man and be like, it was him. It was that guy over there. That's what I see when I see a fake Israelite say it's the Arabs. Last time I checked, Arabs is not flooding. Arabs aren't the progenitors of the original of Reaganomics. Arabs didn't put crack cocaine in Harlem. Right. Or tell me I'm lying. So you know, is it something I know? You was up there in Harlem. Was Arabs bringing it in there? Good night. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Was Arabs the ones that was enslaving us? I know that they had something to do with the ships. I know they were involved in it. But last I checked, the U.S. government was heavily involved and was the people who we were. All of the laws and stuff, that was American politics. Right. Yeah.
I spoke with you before, they, like the lecture that y'all gave yesterday was proof. They knew that black people was not stupid. Right. Because if they really thought that black people were stupid, they would have taken the measures that they took.
Of course not.
So that was, you know,
right. That's the lie and the deceit. You know what I'm saying? We're the most powerful nation ever. Right. Ever. We are the prince of the power. And this is our adversary.
So
he gotta be something, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
He ain't special to the Most High, but he ain't a peon. He's the what?
Most subtile.
Read it. Salakia.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
He was more subtle than any beast of the field. Read on.
Which the Lord God, the Most High, Salakia, had made.
So the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. This is a metaphor. This is not talking about animals. It's not talking about goddamn snakes, right? Because you go to your mama or your sister and ask her, what's this talking about? They're going to say that an actual snake slithered up on a black woman named Eve, started talking, and she was like, Yeah. So, oh, word. That's what. No, okay. She would have, brother. She either would have stomped right on his head with the quickness, or she would have ran.
Right.
A snake. Like it sounds like a goddamn Disney movie. A snake just thrown on like, you know, did he have like an accent? Was he like sophisticated? You know what I'm saying? Was he like slithering while he was talking? It was like, you know, I think what you should, like, what was his personality like as a snake? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Good night. I cannot believe this, man. This is what these people believe. This is talking about the devil, man.
That's right.
It's talking about a nation of people. And man, good.
It's like if I made it. You understand? Like, for them to even say it was a snake, right? It's like, so how the hell will the scripture say that dragon, you know what I mean, that old serpent?
Right.
What snakes you know turn into goddamn dragons?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Or give him a hand. That's a 2-hour point. I guess he was a goddamn Pokemon. Maybe he evolved. I don't know. Like maybe he was the serpent, then he got stronger. He was a dragon. I don't know. It's nonsense, man. They don't know the Bible, man.
That's right.
This is talking about a a nation of people who are the most subtle beasts of the field of any other race of heathens.
Right.
Because that's what they are. This one is special. He's more subtle. He's more cunning than anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Salaki. We didn't get off topic, because it all relates. Right. But I want to jump back to an article real fast before we close out. I want to read this one because, man, I always bring up this example. But I just want to, I like to dispel these myths. If you can, Baba Kushal, go to the article I sent you. Oh, this one, I don't see that. Go to the article. Yes. Because if it's like this, subtitles. The idea that black people, we just read 2 or 3 articles that said that black people somehow managed to vote more than white people. Do you know how impossible that is?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Our percentages, and when it says that, obviously their numbers, there's more of them that voted. But our percentage of turnout amongst our population numbers exceeded theirs. We also, I brought out in the lecture yesterday, right? For the first time, right? I brought out in the lecture, it's like me and both, block you. What am I bugging? I forgot. Not Officer 5,000 Nazar. Right. I can't, I was about to say not Yalazar. So like me and Officer 5,000 Nazar brought out yesterday, man. Like, do you understand that black people are more religious than white people? We're more religious than them. We vote more than them. We work more than them. I got another article, we didn't get into it, but we are more patriotic than them in every single way of
That's right.
Everything, because think about it. It's like, you know what I'm saying? We always break down like true love according to the Bible, right? But if you love your child, you're going to do what?
Discipline.
Discipline. But what else? Can a person who doesn't feed their child love their child?
Wow.
Can a person who doesn't clothe their child love their child? Wow. Can a person who abuses their child love their child?
Wow.
Right. So a person who loves their child is going to do what? Make sure they're okay. Take care of them. Feed them, clothe them, all the basic necessities of life. Who has made America prosper more than blacks and Hispanics? Nobody. Go ahead.
They're the largest group because amongst the whites, their ethnicity is different. Like you got Italians, you got Jews, and
because ethnicity in that regard would be like white would be their ethnicity. But then you got Italians, you got Scottish, you got British, you got, you know what I'm saying?
But they say I'm ethnic Italian.
If they're saying they're ethnic Italian, that is foolery.
Right.
Scottish people are white people.
Right.
Fake, the fake Jewish man. The Jewish man is a white man. No matter how much he would like to convince you otherwise. Yeah. Well, that goes back to being a subtile beast. You know what I'm saying? Salakia. But I see what you're saying, right? But go ahead and read that article. Because let's see if joining America by voting in their elections and things like that is the key to people prospering.
Amid worries that the United States is careening toward liberal democracy, how can we change us? Increasing voter participation is perhaps the most straightforward way to improve democracy in the context of our existing political institutions. After all, voter turnout across the United States has never been all that extraordinary, at drastically lower rates than others. Thus, with the 2018 midterm election fast approaching America, Asian Americans, though currently only 5.8% of the U.S. population, are the fastest growing racial minority.
5.8% of the U.S. population and the fastest growing racial minority. You know?
And are expected to make up 1/10 of all voters by 2044. Despite this impressive growth, however, Asian Americans have one of the most dismal voter turnout rates.
Wait a minute. So Asian Americans have what?
One of the most dismal voter turnout rates.
Dismal voter turnout rates, meaning they don't vote. Voter turnout means how many of them go to the polls. Even bother to go vote. Read on.
Compared to 66% of
compared to what?
66% of black
66%. That means 2 out of 3
of non-Hispanic white voters.
So wait a minute. So Asian American voter turnout is 47%. Black people is 66%. And white people is what?
No, Hispanic.
It says non-Hispanic. Right.
People,
so it means straight up white people
are 64%.
Are what?
64%.
Black people and still prosper.
Right.
So what is this? So when someone says the problem with black, we gotta get out and vote. You're gonna see on BET this year. Well, it's 2020, right? Yeah. This is an election year. You better prepare for it. It's coming to you. You're gonna be getting called. It might be P. Diddy. It might be a recording. Yo, what's up? No, this is Diddy. This lets you know you gotta vote or die. This is an important one, right? It might be one of them calling you. They used to call. I remember one time I got a call, and it said, I think it said, "Hi, this is Hillary Clinton." I hung up. I said, "Hi, this is Hillary." I was like, "Oh, wait, whoa." I was shook. You know what I'm saying? But that's what's coming this year. Like they're gonna try to get more black people to vote. Meanwhile, for all of their work in saying the problem is you are, Salaki, if I may, you are guaranteed to hear at one point between now and November, at least 2 or 3 celebrities say the phrase, the problem is we don't vote. Someone's going to say it somewhere. Well, if y'all need, I'll send you the articles. Yanazar, you got them?
I got them.
You got them. The proof is in the pudding. Asian Americans don't suffer from a lack of Asian businesses.
Right.
Asian Americans don't suffer from black people taking over their communities.
Right.
They don't suffer from us coming in with businesses of our own. You ever seen that? Have you ever gone to an Asian neighborhood and seen like, oh man, all these soul food restaurants? I don't know what's going on here. I mean, what they got selling do-rags? What's kind of story is this? You never seen that.
Get out of town.
Right, exactly. You have never seen it. And they own less than half of them even bother to vote. Read it again, please. Start from despite this impressive growth.
This impressive growth, however, Asian Americans have one of the most dismal voter turnout rates. 47% compared to 66% for black voters and 64% for non-Hispanic white voters. At first glance, these numbers might not seem so alarming.
Go back. You start from 47% again?
47% compared to 66% for black voters and 64% for non-Hispanic white voters.
Right. You can drop that right there. I want to get one more scripture and then we can close the slide here.
Good night. Where's the one? There's another one. Yeah, not meat managers. That's not Salage. 1 second. Salakia. Uh-oh, wait a minute. I think I might have found it. Salakia. It's 35. Don't. 73, Salakia. Nah, no sweat. I can't find it right now. That's no sweat. We don't close out there. Was there any other questions or anything like that? Anybody? Right, good? No sweat. Okay, yeah.
You know like the exact breakdown with the Republicans and Democrats?
I have it.
Difference?
Mm-hmm. I have it. You want me? I actually, a couple weeks ago, I was going to do a whole class on it. I just ended up doing something else.
We'll let that rock.
Yeah. No, I mean, we can, that's fact. If you want, we can do it next week.
As far as the electorate, the people that's registered.
Like a whole, like you, but you mean a breakdown, not in terms of like the political system. You mean like just what exactly Republicans and Democrats, what separates them?
Yeah.
It's a long history because what you consider a Republican now is not what was a Republican 100 years ago, and vice versa. In fact, Republicans and Democrats, there used to be one party called the Democratic Republic, so Republican. It was one thing,
Right.
And split, and this whole story on that. Yeah.
And up until the 60s, black people voted Republican.
Right, but again, it's misleading because the phrase Republican sounds like, oh well, that's what a Republican is now, but that's not what it was. It's not like the same line.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So presidents who were called Republicans at a certain time, today, if they were here today, would probably align themselves more with the Democratic Party. You know what I'm saying? So again, I'll give the breakdown for that. We'll bring it out next week. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna close it out with that. Pass the class over to Priest Oaks and Mahayo.
ISUPK security announcements. We're the ISUPK, start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves in the world. If a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3, 8 through 10. It means 10th in the Hebrew, and is pronounced ma'asheret. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, gives to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocations is, of course, Purim, which is
February 25th and 26th.
February 25th, 26th. You know what I'm saying? Being close to that, we'll keep y'all tuned in and keep y'all posted with what's going on and where to be and when to be there, right? So my go out there to check the social media, such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, Amadium, which means to stand. Wapin Yak with double, which means turn to face the east.
It's a lot here as well. So just this with that.